When we talk about priorities in our life and when we talk about prioritizing God and His purposes in our lives, we often think of that in terms of giving Him the first of our time. We think about it in terms of giving Him, making Him a priority in how we use our resources. But I was thinking about the fact that we don't often talk about making God a priority in our speech. So, how would we do that? Seems like if He is to be a priority in all areas of our lives, He should be a priority in how we talk. I think the Bible gives us several clues. In Deuteronomy 6, we get that picture of how we are supposed to teach about God in every area of life. When we sit, when we stand, when we walk by the wayside, when we go to bed, that our speech all throughout our day should include God, should include biblical principles. I think we can prioritize God in our speech when we remember, as Galatians 4, 5, and 6 talk about, that we are to be gracious in our speech so that we'll know how to make the most of every opportunity that God provides as we interact with people. We prioritize God in our speech when, as 1 Peter 3:15 says, we are ready to give an answer for the hope that we have. That readiness is a way of prioritizing God in our speech. And then when you get right down to it, in Colossians 3:17, Paul writes, whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of our Lord Jesus, giving thanks through him to God the Father. That the way that we prioritize our speech is the way we prioritize God in our speech is the same way we prioritize Him in every area of our life. There has to be intention. There has to be consciousness. And then we remember that in Psalm 19, we have this prayer: let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. When we keep in mind that our words, which stem from the thoughts of our heart, are to be acceptable to God, it's a way of giving Him priority in our speech. So I would encourage you today to think about, do I even think about God when I think about how I talk? Not just in terms of I don't use His name in vain or I don't use inappropriate language, but in terms of, does He get any portion of my speech? Does He take any of the time that I speak? Is it devoted to speaking about Him? Is He integrated in my speech in such a natural way that I would talk about Him as freely as I might talk about the sports team that I'm following or the latest book that I'm reading? And if that's not the case, let's think about how can we make an adjustment so that speaking about God and the things of God become more of a priority in our life. Maybe we start out by praying that God would open our eyes to the opportunities that He has placed around us. And maybe we share something as simple as, when I was in church this weekend, or as I was praying about this, and we walk through kind of that open door. Maybe it's something like we issue an invitation to somebody to join us this Easter at church, and we open that door of the fact that I actually believe in God. I go to church, that Jesus is important to me. And then let's see where God leads in those conversations. I believe our words should give priority to God as much as any other area of our lives.